in case you missed it, Mr. Speaker, 13 partner schools dedicated to special needs students have been strengthened with $11 million in support in fiscal 2026 by this government. With UNICEF, we launched universal screening for children aged 4 to 6 to detect early learning challenges. Mr. Speaker. 18,000 devices are being distributed to Form 1 students at a cost of $146 million, accompanied by AI training for 10,800 teachers. The Vacation Repair Program upgraded 279 schools, recognized as one of the most successful in recent history. Another UNC incentive, Mr. Speaker, another UNC initiative to tackle violence in schools. 95 Special Reserve Police officers are now stationed in 50 high-risk schools. Vision and physical screening programs will continue nationwide. A new literacy and numeracy series in 2026 will address learning gaps, while $10 million in fiscal 26 has been assigned to modernize networks in 456 primary schools. The GATE and higher education loan programs, Mr. Speaker, remain central to access, with 345 bursaries awarded this year. Mr. Speaker, the UWI Debe campus will be operationalized for law, forensics, IT, and AI training, reviving South Trinidad's academic potential, Mr. Speaker. Promise made, promise kept. Mr. Speaker, sport drives unity and national pride. Rehabilitation of pools in Maloney, Morva, Tonopuna, Beach, and Rio Claro continues alongside upgrades at National Stadium. When UNC wins, Mr. Speaker, everybody wins. New community grounds and the elite athlete gym at Tacarigua will enhance performance and health. Scholarships through UTT and partnerships with GC Foster in Jamaica and India are developing coaching and sport administration, including women's cricket. The Samuel Badri Cricket Academy facility at the UTT San Fernando will serve as a national training base. Programs such as Java Cricket that serves 2,000 youths with these hands and Boss Lady equipped communities with practical and entrepreneurial skills, Mr. Speaker. 10 new community centers with full accessibility features will open in fiscal 2020. Mr. Speaker, on this monumental venture, this huge venture, I want to congratulate our women's cricket team for their fabulous victory, and I want to wish them well. And they must be heartened with the news that they are getting, that this government is making sport a priority in Trinidad. I also want to use the opportunity, as I'm reminded by my Honorable Prime Minister, to also wish the Trinidad and Tobago football team the best of luck as they represent our country tomorrow in their match, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, citizens deserve safety and peace. After a decade of record crime and neglect, we are taking decisive action through a national safety strategy based on intelligence, technology, and community engagement. the Ministry of Justice has been re-established to coordinate the justice chain. The Home Invasion, Self-Defense, and Defense of Property Bill 2025 will criminalize home invasion and affirm citizens' rights to defend themselves. A judiciary chancellor will manage case flow, freeing the Chief Justice to focus on jurisprudence. We will expand courtrooms in Chaguanas, Rio Claro, Sangre Grande, and Diego Martin, and enshrine a constitutional right to a timely trial. Victim support will include restitution, job placement, and housing. The DPP and public defenders' offices will be strengthened. Mr. Speaker, for the first time, the administration of justice will be given the priority that they so desperately need, but was so desperately lacking under the former government, Mr. Speaker. We have restored leadership to the TTPS with a new Commissioner of Police, and we have already absorbed 800 special reserve officers to address staff shortages. That is performance, Mr. Speaker. 67 new vehicles and additional transit units have expanded patrol reach, Mr. Speaker. The National Operations Center is being reintegrated under the TPPS. Municipal police and mobile units are being expanded. Updated E999 systems and intelligence-led operations will improve responsiveness, Mr. Speaker. We are building as well a better prison system. 500 new officers are being recruited. Real jobs for real people, Mr. Speaker. Facilities are receiving sanitation, transport, and security upgrades, including anti-drone technology and cell jammers. The 268-year-old Port of Spain prison is being decommissioned, replaced by a modern correctional facility focused on rehabilitation. Mr. Speaker, the fire service is being reinforced with 280 auxiliary officers, 225 new breathing apparatuses, and station upgrades in Savanetta, Santa Cruz, and Sangre Grande, Mr. Speaker. New vehicles and thermal imaging equipment will boost readiness. We will reform firearm laws for responsible ownership, promote rehabilitation over incarceration for non-violent offenders, expand CCTV coverage, strengthen port security, and Mr. Speaker, establish a forensic science complex and a national security training center at the UE Debe campus. Mr. Speaker, we are transforming government through digitization and AI. Long lines and paper delays will soon be history. Our National Digital Assistant, Anansi, it now delivers instant guidance on public services 24/7. Every citizen will soon receive a secure digital ID for simple login access to government portals, allowing taxes, licenses, and business registrations to be completed online and in minutes. That is performance. Electronic health records will unify patient data across facilities. Education platforms will introduce smart classrooms, e-textbooks, and AI tutors. And police will have real-time access to records through innovative policing systems. A national plan, Mr. Speaker. A national AI research and innovation hub will train youth in data science, software engineering, and content creation, enabling citizens to earn from the digital and creative economies, Mr. Speaker. Real jobs for real people. Perhaps the single most transformative initiative of this administration is the National Payment and Innovation Company of Trinidad and Tobago. For decades, citizens have had to walk from ministry to ministry, stand in lines, and pay cash to conduct routine government business. Billions in transactions were fragmented across hundreds of accounts, prone to delay, error, and leakage. That inefficient era is coming to an end. The National Payment and Innovation Company introduces a unified platform that will handle all government collections and disbursements, from licensing fees and taxes to social grants and pension payment. Every ministry, every agency, and every statutory body will connect to this single payment backbone. Mr. Speaker, this is not just a technology upgrade. It is a revolution in public financial management. With this system, every cent collected or paid by the state can be tracked in real time. This means faster reconciliation, strong oversight, and the near elimination of fraud, pilferage, and bureaucratic delay. Citizens will have multiple ways to pay: online, on their phones, at self-service kiosks, or over-the-counter terminals, using debit cards, credit cards, vouchers, or digital wallets. Every transaction will be instant, secure, and recorded. It will no longer matter whether a citizen lives in Moruga, Togo, or Tobago. Every service will be at their fingertips, available. This is a historic shift towards convenience, equity, and accountability. The NPIC-TT will not only save millions in administrative costs, but will also expand government revenue through better compliance and audit trails. It will make life easier for the public, strengthen confidence in government, and build a transparent bridge between the citizens and the state. It is also an enabler of our broader national agenda, linking ministries, banks, and service providers, integrating e-government services, and creating a foundation for innovation. With the NPIC-TT, the state itself becomes digital, efficient, responsive, and people-centered. Mr. Speaker, I now turn to Tobago. Yes. In pursuit of the Tobago House of Assembly's vision to make Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, in pursuit of the THA's vision to make Tobago the greatest little island on the planet Earth, the THA developed and implemented a strategic development planning pathway for 2025 to 2045. This new development architecture will guide Tobago's socio-economic and political transformation, informing the island's development plans and projects. The institutional strategy, known as strategic selectivity, will direct social and economic development, program, and capital investments, ensuring that efforts are both targeted and effective. The fiscal 2026 budget statement presented by the THA identifies the goal of placing Tobago on a fast track to socio-economic prosperity while securing the island's financial stability. The Targeted Economic Growth Program for fiscal 26 is specifically designed to foster sustainable job creation, boost GDP, enhance public infrastructure, improve public service delivery, and increase living standards. To achieve these goals, the THA has proposed targeted capital investments in the following critical areas. In tourism and the creative sector, Tobago's tourism remains a vital cornerstone of the economy. There is immense potential in the pristine natural environment, rich cultural heritage, and vibrant festivals. THA intends to invest in product development, destination branding, and promoting high-end accommodation. It also aims to support a sustainable community-based approach, promoting the unique cultural heritage through digital content, heritage stores, and training programs. These strategic investments will not only create direct jobs, but will also stimulate growth across related sectors such as transportation and agriculture, ultimately revitalizing the entire economy. In agriculture, Tobago is committed to building productive, safe, and sustainable food systems. The THA strategy includes a mega farming program to encourage innovation and attract agri-entrepreneurs, strengthening the food security and positioning agriculture as a viable career path. To further support farmers, the THA is investing in local seed banks to preserve indigenous crops, developing efficient irrigation systems, and providing extensive training on modern agriculture techniques. In infrastructure, the THA has committed itself to significantly upgrading its public infrastructure. This includes enhancing road networks, public utilities, public housing, and coastal protection systems. Upgrades are also projected to include enhancing airlift connectivity between both Trinidad and international markets to accelerate socioeconomic growth, create employment opportunities, and enhance the island's overall prosperity. In terms of digital technologies, Mr. Speaker, the THA plans to integrate digital technology into its business operations, governance, and daily life. This investment will not only enhance productivity through automation and AI, but also break down geographic barriers, unlock new avenues for innovation, and improve resource allocation. To accelerate Tobago's growth, a two-pronged strategy that includes both immediate and long-term investments to create a skilled and adaptable workforce, ensuring that Tobago's population is well equipped to meet the challenges and opportunities of a dynamic future. Tobago's education reform program will encompass all levels, from preschool to tertiary, placing a strong emphasis on support for students with special needs. In terms of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises sector, Mr. Speaker, over 90% of the island's businesses fall into this category. MSMEs are crucial for creating jobs and reducing reliance on the government sector for employment. Initiatives such as the Tobago Development Fund and the newly launched Loan Guarantee Program will help businesses grow, create more jobs for marginalized groups, and ultimately build a more equitable and resilient economy for all Tobagonians. Tobago continues to acquire new diagnostic technology and modernize hospitals in Scarborough and Roxborough, and ultimately increase the life expectancy of its citizens. Mr. Speaker, I am advised that the THA intends to expand the Scarborough and Roxborough hospitals to accommodate better and meet the growing needs of the population. Tobago is ensuring that the communities are safe and have appropriate green and functioning social infrastructure to meet the needs of the citizens. The adaptation to climate change will include coastal protection and restoration, sustainable water management, and the building of climate-resilient public infrastructure. Tobago is also focusing on skill development, vocational training, building an amateur to professional sports pipeline, and youth internship programs. The Sport Development Work Program aims at monetizing sport and outdoor recreation and catalyzing investment in sports infrastructure. The THA intends to leverage sport to diversify tourism, led by a new sport tourism unit and supported by key events such as the International Youth Cricket Tournament and the International Diving Meet. Under public utilities and rural development, the THA has developed a suite of initiatives, including subsidized housing, land affordability schemes, rental assistance, and home improvement grants to ensure all Tobagonians have access to safe and affordable housing solutions. Mr. Speaker, the minimum share of the national budget that should be allocated to Tobago, as prescribed by the Dispute Resolution Commission, is 4.09%. So 4.03%, sorry. Just for the record, Mr. Speaker, the minimum share of the national budget that should be allocated to Tobago, as prescribed by the Dispute Resolution Commission, is 4.03%. I recognize that this will be insufficient to achieve the objectives I have just described. I have taken note of the budget proposed by the Tobago House of Assembly and their national agenda. In that vein, I am proud and happy to announce that in this fiscal year, I have been directed by my Prime Minister to allocate $2.96 billion to the Tobago House of Assembly, which represents a full 5% of the national budget. However, that is not all. That is not all. In addition, a further $763 million will be spent by various ministries on Tobago. In total then, the allocation to Tobago for the fiscal year 2026 will be $3.72 billion, which equates to 6.3% of the national budget. Mr. Speaker, when UNC wins, Tobago wins. Mr. Speaker, I turn now to the 2025 fiscal performance. Almost immediately upon assuming office in April, it became evident that we had inherited a seriously distressed financial situation, marked by collapsing revenues, unsustainable expenditure, rising debts, and mounting arrears. Amongst these obligations was a substantial bill for salary adjustments and arrears for officers under the SRC report. Faced with this reality, we had no choice but to seek to settle outstanding obligations left unattended by the previous administration. Thus, we were forced to appropriate an additional $3.1 billion in the mid-year review of the fiscal 2025 budget. The preliminary outturn for fiscal 2025 is for a deficit of $8.7 billion, with a revenue of $50.6 billion and an expenditure of $59.3 billion. This is their deficit. This is the deficit of the former administration, led, well, I'm not too sure who they are led by even now, Mr. Speaker. This shortfall could have been even worse. It could have been far greater had we not acted swiftly and decisively to continue spending and strengthen revenue streams. In the future, Mr. Speaker, over the next 5 years and beyond, we will pursue a path of fiscal consolidation and structural reform to break us free from the cycle of low growth, anemic revenues, and high expenditure that has constrained our economy for far too long. In light of the crisis that we met on assumption of office, Mr. Speaker, we immediately set out to put policies and programs in place to mitigate the economic situation. This is clearly demonstrated in our first 150 days in office. Mr. Speaker, I have already reported on our first 150 days in office. Mr. Speaker, our country has faced the recurrent challenge of navigating fluctuations in global energy markets. Variability in oil and gas prices has consistently created uncertainty around government revenues, requiring careful and responsive policy making. We recognize the risks of over-reliance on the energy sector and are taking steps towards broader economic reform. We maintain close oversight of international energy trends to help guide our fiscal strategy. Consequently, Mr. Speaker, our oil price assumption for 2026 will be US $73.25 per barrel, compared to US $77.80 per barrel in 2025. And our natural gas assumption will be US $4.25 per MMBTU compared to $3.59 per MMBTU in 2025. As a result of these commodity price estimates, we expect total revenue of $55.367 billion, total expenditure of $59.232 billion, with a fiscal deficit of $3.865 billion. Nothing close to the 1920 and whatever figure those opposite have been telling the population. Mr. Speaker, the total estimated revenue of $55.37 billion comprises, you want to know where the money coming from? Pay attention. Comprises oil revenue, $11.254 billion. Non-oil revenue, $43.402 billion. Capital revenue, $0.711 billion. Mr. Speaker, you should note that the fiscal deficit at $3.865 billion is 2.17% of GDP, again within the international benchmark of 3%. We have said it a long time ago, Mr. Speaker, performance beats also every time. Pursuant to our public policy agenda, the central fiscal 2026 allocations are as follows. Education and training, $8.766
Mr. Speaker,
billion.
Standing Order 53-1. I know my colleagues opposite are in shell shock. But please, if we can rein them in places, we can hear the Minister of Finance.
I really don't think that this today of all these is a time I should have to intervene to allow the Minister of Finance to proceed to read his budget speech in some degree of quietude. Minister, continue, and please, members, let us all allow the Minister to continue. He's been going a long time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to our public policy agenda, the central fiscal 2026 allocations are as follows. We will be spending $8.766 billion on education and training. On health, we will be spending $8.214 billion. On national security, $6.366 billion. On public utilities, $3.395 billion. On infrastructure, $1.943 billion. On rural development and local government, $1.807 billion. On transport, $1.840 billion. On agriculture, Mr. Speaker, $1.13 billion. On housing, $0.662 billion. That's $662 million, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am proud to have shared those numbers as to where we are going to spend money for the national benefit, Mr. Speaker. When the UNC wins, Mr. Speaker, everybody wins. But, Mr. Speaker, fiscal stability is the foundation of sustainable growth. And so, I turn now to fiscal and other measures. I've numbered them for easier reference. Number 1, levy on assets of commercial banks and insurance companies operating in Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Speaker, commercial banks and insurance companies, due to their large size, profitability, and capitalization, have reported sustained earnings, high liquidity ratios, and strong asset growth. Conservative lending practices and favorable monetary conditions have driven these outcomes. Despite this, the average citizen continues to be subjected to unreasonably high fees and near zero returns on their savings and investments. Against this backdrop, I propose to introduce an asset levy of 0.25%. That's 0.25%, Mr. Speaker, which is to be charged against the assets of commercial banks and insurance companies operating in Trinidad and Tobago. Importantly, the asset levy will not be applied to financial institutions and insurance companies operating under the provisions of the Special Economic Zones Act. This measure will become effective January 1st, 2026, and is expected to contribute $575 million annually to revenues. The landlord business surcharge. In recent times, there has been an explosion of unregistered commercial and residential rental properties. Many of these landlords have been avoiding paying their fair share of taxes. This contributes, Mr. Speaker, to significant revenue loss and a lack of reliable data to support policy development. The introduction of this landlord business surcharge based on actual rental income. Let me repeat that, Mr. Speaker, for those who are misinforming the rest of the public. The introduction of this landlord business surcharge is based on actual rental income, will broaden the tax revenue base, promoting fairness, transparency, and accountability. This measure requires all landlords to register with the Board of Inland Revenue and pay a one-time registration fee of $2,500. This surcharge will be applied as follows. 1, 2.5% on the gross annual rental income of $20,000 or less. And 2, 3.5% of the gross annual rental income exceeding $20,000. Mr. Speaker, I want to stress that this is based on actual, real rental revenue. Actual, real rental information, Mr. Speaker. This measure takes effect from January 1, 2026 and is expected to yield a minimum of $70 million from the one-time registration fee. It bears repeating, Mr. Speaker, that this is based on actual rental income, not proposed or some nefarious ghost rental calculation, as those on the other side had proposed in their nefarious property tax, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, item 3, electricity surcharge. Mr. Speaker, the government proposes the introduction of an electricity surcharge as a targeted fiscal measure to address the growing cost of electricity subsidies and promote efficiency in energy use. This surcharge will take the form of a fixed bill level charge of 5 cents per kilowatt. 5 cents per kilowatt for commercial customers and industrial customers. This surcharge will take the form of a fixed bill level charge of 5 cents per kilowatt for commercial customers and industrial customers. Commercial customers and industrial customers. Pay attention. Not residential customers. In case some members were closing their fridge doors and didn't hear it, this surcharge is applicable to commercial customers and industrial customers and not residential customers. You see, when we say we care, we care. And we show it. The policy is designed to encourage energy conservation, reduce the government's subsidy burden, and generate a predictable revenue stream. It must be noted that our electricity rates will remain substantially below those of our trading partners. In addition to residential applications, essential public services such as schools, hospitals, and street lighting will be exempted. Essential public services such as schools, hospitals, and street lighting, in addition to residential, will be exempted. Churches, mosques, temples, schools, hospitals, residential communities, all exempted. All. At current consumption level, this initiative is estimated to contribute an additional $269 million to revenues. This measure takes effect on January 1st, 2026. Item 4. Mr. Speaker, the cost of administering and offering public services in Trinidad and Tobago has risen significantly across ministries, departments, and agencies. Notwithstanding, many administrative charges, including license and permit fees and processing charges, have remained unchanged in some cases for as much as 30 years. This places additional pressure on the Consolidated Fund. Updating the fee structures in line with the current cost of doing business is therefore necessary to ensure cost reflectivity, fairness, and sustainability, while also safeguarding service quality and enabling modernization. It is to be noted that 80% of the projected revenue increases are attributable to customs duties on rums and spirits, beer, and tobacco products. Tobacco products. Again, for the record, it is important to know that 80% of the projected revenue increases are attributable to customs duties on rum and spirits, beer, and tobacco products. Therefore, the amended duties are proposed. The following amended duties are proposed. Rum and spirits, by percent of alcohol, the existing is $79.25 by percent of alcohol. That is existing. The new proposed is $158.50. Beer by gravity of beer, existing duties, $5.14. Proposed, $10.28. Cigarettes per pack of 20, existing $5.26. Proposed, $10.52. Included in the list of fees to be amended are container processing fees, which were moved from $525 to $1,050. Customs declaration transaction user fee from $40 to $80. Environmental tire tax from $20 to $40. Wild animals and birds from $100 to $200. Mr. Speaker, these measures will contribute an additional $1 billion to revenue. The increase in customs duties on rum, spirits, beer, and cigarettes will take immediate effect. The increases in other fees, charges, and licenses will take effect from January 1st, 2026. 5. Custom duties on luxury electric cars. Mr. Speaker, the concession for electric vehicles has been abused. Data reveals that significant foreign exchange has been used to import high-end electric vehicles which attract no customs duty, no motor vehicle tax, and no value-added tax. We recognize the importance of electric vehicles in reducing carbon emissions and propose adjusting the applicable taxation regime to provide relief levels for mid to lower price vehicles. Accordingly, I propose the following on vehicles whose CIF values exceeds $400,000, Mr. Speaker. A rate of duty of 10%, VAT of 12.5%, and a tiered rate of motor vehicle tax applicable to the electric motor size will be applied on vehicles whose CIF value exceeds $400,000. At the current demand, this initiative will contribute an additional $40 million to revenues. This measure takes effect on January 1st, 2026. Mr. Speaker, 6, taxation on single-use plastics. This government is committed to protecting the environment. Single-use plastics contribute heavily to clogged waterways, land and marine pollution, and overburdened waste management systems, ultimately harming public health, biodiversity, and the economy. I propose to introduce a 5% tax on the CIF value of these products at the point of importation. The proceeds will be earmarked to support national recycling programs, waste management initiatives, and the public environmental education. Mr. Speaker, the proceeds of this tax will be earmarked to support national recycling programs, waste management initiatives, and public environmental education. This measure will take effect from January 1st, 2026. 7, the establishment of a real estate investment trust, in Trinidad, a REIT. Mr. Speaker, in fiscal 2026, we will establish a state-sponsored real estate investment trust, a landmark initiative to democratize state-owned assets, strengthen and diversify our capital market, and broaden public participation in national wealth creation. This is another bold step to unlock new avenues of non-debt financing. Through this vehicle, high-value income-generating properties such as land, office buildings, and commercial infrastructure will be transferred into a professionally managed REIT. Shares will be listed on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, allowing both ordinary and institutional investors to earn regular dividends from the real estate. At the same time, the state retains a strategic stake in these assets. A high-level technical committee will be appointed to guide this process for greater transparency and accountability. Mr. Speaker, this position puts Trinidad and Tobago as a regional pioneer in innovative financing and empowers our citizens to share directly in the prosperity of our nation. Given the healthy domestic investor appetite, this measure is expected to contribute significantly to the government's revenue stream. 8, NIF bond. Mr. Speaker, in fiscal 2026, the National Investment Fund Holding Company Limited will launch a $1 billion NIF bond. This is yet another opportunity provided by this government to afford ordinary citizens, small businesses, and institutions the opportunity to invest and build personal wealth in a safe, tax-free environment without increasing public debt. This bond will be backed by a 21% of the shareholding of the First Citizens Group Financial Holdings Limited, valued at approximately $2 billion, while the government retains indirect and beneficial ownership of the majority of FCGFHs at 60.11%. This bond will be issued in the second quarter of fiscal 2026. 9. Penalties on offences. To ensure stricter adherence to the law, we propose a more rigorous consequences for non-compliance. Consequently, the following is proposed. We propose to move the environmental tire tax from $3,000 to $5,000. An application for registration of a pesticide for $2,000 to $4,000. For brewers, $4,000 to $10,000. Driving while disqualified from holding or obtaining a driver permit, no fee. As exists now, no fee. We propose a $5,000 fee. Careless driving, as exists now, no fee. We propose a $15,000 fine. Driving or being in charge of a vehicle while blood alcohol exceeds prescribed limit, no fee. We propose a $15,000 fee. Mr. Speaker, this will ensure safety and accountability on our nation's roadways, Mr. Speaker. These increases in penalties will contribute an additional $180 million to revenues. These amendments will take effect from January 1st, 2026. 10. Removal of motor vehicle tax concessions for returning nationals. Mr. Speaker, in January 2023, the Financial Intelligence Unit issued to the Ministry of Finance its strategic analysis report on the abuse of the duty relief concession granted for personal vehicles imported by returning nationals in accordance with Section 17(1)(b) of the Financial Intelligence Unit of Trinidad and Tobago Act, Chapter 7201, and Regulation 26(1)(d)(2) of the Financial Intelligence Unit of Trinidad and Tobago. The report also cites statistics showing fraud and abuse of duty relief detected by persons claiming returning nationals exemptions October 26 to 2018. Yeah. The report also cites statistics showing fraud and abuse of duty relief detected by persons claiming returning national exemptions between October 2016 and September 2018. Mr. Speaker, despite knowing about this abuse, the then Minister of Finance sat on his hands, allowing this abuse and loss of revenue to continue. This Minister of Finance is committed to protecting the public purse and preventing tax avoidance, fraud, and abuse of concessions. To this end, I propose that the customs duty relief and related tax concessions of value-added tax and motor vehicle tax on motor vehicles imported by returning nationals be removed. This measure will take effect from January 1st, 2026. Mr. Speaker, the subsidy for LPG has been in place since 1926. The most recent adjustment to the retail price was made in 1998, over 25 years ago. While we must adjust the subsidies to reflect market forces, as a caring government, we must also protect those least able to afford a significant price increase. As such, I propose to amend the subsidy on LPG cylinders of £100 and above by 50 cents per pound. I wish to reiterate that the price of cylinders below £100, including the standard 20-pound cylinders, which we are all familiar with, will continue to be subsidized at the same rate and will not change price. These amendments will take place on January 1st, 2026, Mr. Speaker, when UNC wins ordinary households. Mr. Speaker, 12. Safeguarding our national insurance system. The national insurance system safeguards the dignity of retirees, and provides income security for workers and their families. Today, annual benefit expenditure is well over $6 billion, an increase of more than 65% over the last 2 decades. After the last decade of neglect, this system is in absolute crisis today. To do nothing will be irresponsible. Since 2020, benefit payouts have consistently exceeded contributions, forcing the NIB to liquidate its assets to meet its obligations. The 11th actual review projects that if nothing is done, the fund will be depleted by 2023 or 2020. Sorry, the fund will be depleted by 2033 to 2034. Mr. Speaker, for nearly a decade, the PNM sat idly by knowing this fact and did nothing, while warning bells sounded, kicking the proverbial can down the road. But you see, Mr. Speaker, we are not as reckless as they are. We will not allow this fund to collapse, jeopardizing the very benefits that over 200,000 of our most vulnerable citizens depend on. Let me be clear. This government will act decisively where the PNM refused to act. To save this critical institution from bankruptcy and to preserve the benefits for future generations, we must increase the contribution rate. To minimize the burdens on contributors, I propose a phased approach, implementing a 3% increase in the contribution rate effective January 5th, 2026, followed by another 3% increase from January 4th, 2027. Mr. Speaker, those opposite, the PNM, would have left this fund as it is to collapse, denying generations, present and future, from access to pension benefits. Let me explain, Mr. Speaker, if I may. Pension benefits, maternity benefits, accident benefits, all of these personal benefits to those least able to afford them, Mr. Speaker. All of those, the vulnerable population, would have been denied had that government continued in office. They would have done nothing. This government is saving the future of this country, Mr. Speaker. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, beginning in January 2028, the age at which a person can receive a full NIS retirement pension will gradually increase over a 10-year period. There will be no change for anyone who retires at age 60 before January 1st, 2028. Those retirees will continue to qualify for a full NIS pension with a minimum of $3,000 at age 60. There will be no change for anyone who retires at age 60 before January 1st, 2028. Furthermore, existing pensioners will not be affected by this change. If it were left to those opposite this fund would have collapsed and existing pensioners will have no access to pensions, Mr. Speaker. Starting in January 2028, the age for a full NIS pension will increase by 1 year every 2 years until it reaches age 65 at 2036. That means to access the full minimum pension of $3,000 from January 1st, 2028 to December 31st, 2029, a retiree must be 61 years of age. From January 1st, 2030 to December 31st, 2031, a retiree must be 62 years of age. From January 1st, 2032 to December 31, 2033, a retiree must be 63 years of age. From January 1st, 2034 to December 31st, 2035, a retiree must be 64 years of age. Yeah. From January 1st, 2036 onward, a retiree must be 65 years of age. For clarification, these amendments mean that the retirement age for a full NIS pension will move from 60 to 65 over the next decade. Persons who retire early will still receive a pension, but at a reduced rate. Mr. Speaker, these reforms are not easy, but they are not urgent. Yeah. These reforms are not easy, but they are now urgently required to give the years of inaction that was allowed these challenges to deepen under the last administration. These measures are projected to extend the life of the NIS fund, securing pension for today's workers and tomorrow's retirees. Let it be said, Mr. Speaker, that under this government, the NIS will not be allowed to fall. We will protect the rights and contributions of citizens who have contributed for all of their lives. We will protect the rights of them to access benefits when they retire, Mr. Speaker. I want to reiterate that there's no mandatory retirement. There's no mandatory retirement over the next decade. This system remains applicable and available for those who are volunteering. Mr. Speaker, the UNC continues to protect the interests of pensioners in this country, Mr. Speaker, because when UNC wins, workers and pensioners win. Mr. Speaker, innovation is a key driver of transformation, competitiveness, and resilience. The Research and Development Impact Fund at the University of the West Indies is a critical mechanism for advancing applied research, fostering partnerships, and generating solutions to national challenges. The fund has supported more than 47 projects, cultivated over 270 partnerships, attracted $124 million in external resources, and delivered new products and services that are already in use across the region. In keeping with the government's diversification agenda, an allocation of $10 million will be provided to the UE RDI fund in fiscal 2026. This will encourage more of our researchers and innovators to focus on areas critical to national development, such as climate resilience, citizen security, sustainable agriculture, and health innovation. Mr. Speaker, the National Innovation and Incubator Program will strengthen the innovation ecosystem and entrepreneurship in Trinidad and Tobago. This program will provide 100 young graduates and aspiring entrepreneurs with the mentorship, financing, and structured support required to transform ideas into viable businesses and expand the base of small and micro enterprises towards economic diversification. That's quite a mouthful, Mr. Speaker. So let me say it again. This program will provide 100 young graduates per year and aspiring entrepreneurs with mentorship, financing, and structured support required to transform ideas into viable businesses and expand the base of small and micro enterprises towards economic diversification. In fiscal 2026, the government, through an allocation of $15.75 million, will partner with the Unit Trust Corporation and UE Ventures Limited. This underscores the government's determination to create an enabling environment where new entrepreneurs, young graduates, can emerge and participate in a modern, diversified economy. This program will commence in January 2026. Sixteen, yeah. Period poverty. This is a period poverty intervention, Mr. Speaker. Period poverty continues to undermine the health and educational opportunities for many women and girls in Trinidad and Tobago. Women and girls impacted by period poverty struggle to afford menstrual hygiene products. To this end, I propose the following strategic interventions to address the socio-economic issue. The Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of People, Social Development and Family Services will collaborate to establish a Women's Health Fund. This government will provide an initial seed capital of $5 million. We will also partner with other stakeholders to ensure the sustainability of this fund. This fund will be used to launch a pilot program to provide distribution of free menstrual kits in educational institutions. It will also be used to provide education and sensitization on menstrual health for various groups, including men and boys, to foster inclusivity and dismantle stigma. A tax incentive, Mr. Speaker, will be provided to encourage individuals and corporations to contribute to this fund. This initiative will commence in January 2026. Mr. Speaker, when UNC wins, women and girls win. This government will introduce the Elevate program to upskill 15,000 educators, helping them incorporate and modernize their teaching methodologies using 21st century technologies. The government will allocate $5.72 million to this program, which will deliver relevant, flexible, and modern professional development aligned to national priorities and the 2025 to 2030 education policy. This program will commence in January 2026. Mr. Speaker, when the UNC wins, teachers win. 18. The Next Class program aims to create an AI-powered user interface platform that empowers teachers with the resources to enhance their teaching effectiveness and foster a more personalized learning environment. Every teacher will gain access to a single platform hosted by the Ministry of Education, featuring lesson planning, real-time student tracking, automated grading support, and professional development tools. This government will invest $4.64 million into this program. This program will commence in January 2026. Mr. Speaker, when the UNC wins, students win. 19, the Pearl Project, promoting early assessment for resilient learners. Access early, educate fully. Mr. Speaker, the Promoting Early Assessment for Resilient Learners initiative will touch the lives of thousands of children and their family by ensuring that challenges in vision, hearing, growth, and development are detected and addressed before they become barriers to learning. The program will embed universal screening in our schools, ensuring that difficulties are identified and addressed early before they limit a child's potential. Through the alignment of the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of the People, Social Development and Family Services, Pearl will guarantee parents and students a seamless medium of care and attention. This government will allocate $7.89 million to this program, which will commence in January 2026. Mr. Speaker, when the UNC wins, children with learning disabilities win. Tax concession for corporate and individual contributions to registered animal shelters. Mr. Speaker, this government recognizes the critical role that registered animal shelters play in controlling stray populations, promoted spaying and neutering, and advancing public health and environmental sanitation. To support their work, I propose to amend the Corporation Tax Act, Chapter 7502, to allow companies that make financial contributions to registered animal shelters approved by the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, well, it's the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, to claim such contributions as a deduction in computing their chargeable profits. The deduction will be capped at a low of 15% of chargeable profits of $100,000 per year of income. Mr. Speaker, I propose to amend the Income Tax Act, Chapter 7501, to provide a standalone deduction for individuals who support registered animal shelters. To qualify, the shelter must be registered under the Non-Profit Organizations Act 2019 or the Companies Act, Chapter 8101, and approved by the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries. This deduction will be capped at the lower of 20% of the individual's total income, or $20,000 per year. These amendments will take effect from January 1, 2026. Mr. Speaker, when the UNC wins, animal lovers win. 21. Agricultural incentives. Mr. Speaker, despite their promise to make the agricultural sector tax-free, the PNM failed to fulfill this commitment. This has characterized the PNM's neglect of our farmers, which has compromised our food security over the last decade. Our focus is to make food more affordable to every citizen by supporting increased and sustainable agricultural production. To this end, I propose to remove VAT from all machinery and equipment intended explicitly for agricultural use. To remove VAT from all components used explicitly in hydroponic farming and greenhouse farming, if not already specified elsewhere. The review of paragraph 5 of Schedule 2 of the VAT Act to provide a comprehensive classification for zero-rated preparations and chemicals to ensure that farmers have access to a full range of cost-effective inputs for cultivation and animal health. And for the removal of customs duty from feed used for poultry, cattle, and pigs. These amendments will take effect from January 1st, 2026. Mr. Speaker, when the UNC wins, farmers win. Yeah. In the last Prasad-Bissessar-led administration, Mr. Speaker, we removed VAT from let me say that again. I wish we had removed VAT from 70,000, but it was not 70,000. It was 7,000. In the last Prasad-Bissessar-led administration, Mr. Speaker, we removed VAT from 7,000 food items. A bold step back then. As soon as the PNM assumed office, they introduced VAT on these basic food items. And this had the immediate effect of directly raising the prices of food for every citizen, Mr. Speaker. Public pressure eventually forced them to remove VAT on some of these items. Today, I am proud to say that this Kamla Prasad-Bissessar-led administration will again be removing value-added tax from a multiplicity of basic food items. These items include table salt, Morbi, coconut water, as well as locally produced pumpkin, watermelon, cucumber, lettuce, and tomatoes, amongst others. This is a government that cares about the average citizen, Mr. Speaker. You see, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. This measure will take effect from October 17, 2025. Item 23. Amendments to the policy on importation of foreign use vehicles, Mr. Speaker. A previous UNC administration had democratized access to vehicle ownership by introducing foreign use vehicles to the market, making vehicles accessible and available to every citizen. We have since noticed the increase in the cost of new and foreign use vehicles as a direct result of the restrictive policies of the PNM. Today, I am pleased to announce that in keeping with our 2025 general election commitment to make vehicle ownership available and affordable again, I propose the following. Firstly, an increase in the permissible age of importation of private cars, that is SUVs, sedans, and station wagons, which are powered by gasoline, diesel, or CNG, from 3 years and under to 6 years and under from the date of manufacture. Secondly, an increase in the permissible age of importation of light commercial vehicles, that is pickups and panel vans, from 7 years and under to 10 years and under from the date of manufacture. This measure will take effect from January 1st, 2026. Mr. Speaker, when the UNC wins, every citizen wins. Removal of tax on private pensions. In keeping with the government's promise during the 2025 election campaign, I propose that private pensions be now exempted from income tax. This amendment will take effect from January 1st, 2026. Mr. Speaker, when the UNC wins, retirees win. Thank you, yes. Item 25, reducing the cost of construction materials. Mr. Speaker, over the last decade, the cost of construction materials has skyrocketed, making ownership an unfulfilled dream to many, particularly our young people. Conscious of this, and to further stimulate the economy, particularly in the area of construction, I propose that the negative list under the Trade Ordinance be amended to remove item number I-4, clays, crushed limestone, boulders, sand, gravel, plastering sand, porcelainite, agalite, oil sand. This will provide a much-needed impetus to the construction sector and is expected to reduce the cost of building materials and the cost of construction generally. This will boost employment in plumbing, electricals, tiling, masonry, carpentry, and fabrication industries, amongst others. Real jobs for real people, Mr. Speaker. These amendments will take effect on January 1st, 2026. Mr. Speaker, when the UNC wins, homeowners win. Mr. Speaker, when the UNC wins, tradesmen win. Mr. Speaker, the last measure, which bears repeating. Item 26. On behalf of this UNC government, I wish to announce that in our bid to build economic fairness, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa has instructed that effective immediately, the price of super gasoline at the gas station pump be reduced by $1 per liter. On an average tank of 50 liters, you will save $50 every time you go to the gas station to fill up. $50, Mr. Speaker. When the UNC wins, the traveling public wins. Mr. Speaker, Budget 2026 is a declaration that Trinidad and Tobago is back on course. In the words of Khalil Gibran, true progress is not in enhancing what is, but in advancing what should be. This budget is more than an accounting of revenues and expenditures, plans and policies. It represents a shift towards fairness. For far too long, the government's fiscal policy has been seen as a technical exercise. Today, we redefine it as a human one. Every dollar we spend, every measure we take must be guided by a single principle, putting the people of Trinidad and Tobago first. In this fiscal year, we are taking deliberate steps to realign national priorities, to put our great nation first, and to build economic fairness through accountable fiscal policies. This is the beginning of a new era built on trust, fairness, and people-centered governance, where growth is measured not only by GDP, but by the strength of our communities and the hope we inspire in every home across this nation. This budget, Mr. Speaker, is at its core a statement of the UNC's values. It reflects our belief that economic policy must begin and end with people, real men and women struggling each day to build better lives for themselves and their families. Our task, therefore, is not just to balance the nation's finances. Our task is not just to balance the nation's finances, but to restore balance to our society, to ensure that opportunity reaches every community, from Cedros to Charlottesville, from Moruga to Carinage, where equal access to the national patrimony is available to every single citizen. The days of promises without performance is over. This UNC government delivers. And as we close this sorry chapter of the last decade and look forward to the future, we cannot paper over, as was done before, the harsh realities that we face. Yes, the road ahead is long, and growth will be tempered in the short term by a decline in the energy sector, a legacy left by a decade of neglect and irresponsible government by those on that side. However, this nation would have noted that this government, under the visionary leadership of Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, refuses to be paralyzed by the legacies of the past and the postmortems of those who rush first to bleat. We have chosen to listen to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We have chosen a fiscal approach that will not only restore stability, but will lay a foundation for lasting prosperity, ensuring that our nation's future is one of opportunity for every citizen, no matter their background. To every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, this is not just the governor's journey. This is yours as well. Our shared future depends on unity, patience, and collective effort. Let us move together with courage, with hope, and with the firm conviction that we will rebuild a stronger, fairer, and more prosperous Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Speaker, as this this budget demonstrates, when the UNC wins, homeowners win. When the UNC wins, tradesmen win. When the UNC wins, retirees win. When the UNC wins, children win. When the UNC wins, workers and pensioners win. When the UNC wins, farmers win. When the UNC wins, business win. When the UNC wins, manufacturers win. When the UNC wins, public servants win. When the UNC wins, former county workers win. When the UNC wins, women and girls win. When the UNC wins, motorists win. When the UNC wins, children with learning disabilities win. When the UNC wins, animal lovers win. When the UNC wins, young people win. When the UNC wins, the vulnerable wins. Mr. Speaker, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move. Mr. Speaker. Yes. In accordance with Standing Order 81-4, I wish to advise that debate on the budget will resume on Friday 17th of October 2025 at 10 a.m.
Leader of Government Business.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the government bench and the people of Trinidad and Tobago, I'm certain I want to thank the Honourable Minister of Finance and the Honourable Prime Minister for a phenomenal budget presentation. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House do now adjourn to Friday, October 17, 2025 at 10 a.m.
Honourable members, before putting the question on the adjournment, I am to advise that your budget packages are available for collection at the Northern Colonnade Corridor distribution room next to the members' entrance on the Abercrombie Street side of the Red House. Honourable members, the question is that this House do now adjourn to Friday, October 17, 2025 at 10 a.m. All in favour say aye. Aye. Any against? The ayes have it. This House now stands adjourned to Friday, October 17, 2025 at 10 a.m.